The classroom was unlike anything humans had ever seen. Towering walls made of glowing metal reflected strange patterns across the room. Transparent screens floated in the air, showing maps of distant planets and charts of alien predators. The seats were arranged in a semicircle, giving every student a clear view of the professor. The students were not human. Some had scales, others had fur, and a few had no visible mouths at all. Their eyes glowed in colors that humans could barely imagine. Yet among them sat one human boy, small in size but calm. His name was Leo. The professor, an enormous being with 6 arms and golden eyes, slammed one hand on the desk, making the holographic screens flicker. "Today," the professor said, voice deep and echoing, "we will discuss survival. Not just any survival, but escaping apex predators. I want you to answer this. How do you escape an apex predator?" A hush fell over the room. The alien students shifted nervously. Apex predators were the ultimate hunters in the galaxy. Even the strongest species struggled to survive against them. Whispers filled the room. A scale-skinned alien muttered, "I would hide in the shadows and wait. They cannot find me." Another with fur bristling said, "I would attack first. If the predator fears me, it will not chase." A floating, jelly-like creature made a sound like bubbling, which the translator interpreted as, "Run. Simply run as fast as you can." All eyes then turned to Leo, the human. He sat quietly, fingers folded, his gaze calm. Unlike the aliens, he did not look scared. The room seemed to hold its breath. The professor's many eyes focused on him. "And you human? What is your plan?" Leo slowly raised his hand. The motion was so deliberate, so confident, that it made the class tense. Some aliens leaned forward, curious. Most of them did not expect a human to have any answer. Humans were weak, small, and fragile compared to the galaxy's apex hunters. "I would observe first," Leo said softly. His voice was calm, steady, and firm. "I would watch its movements. I would study its behavior. Every predator has a pattern. If you understand it, you can find a way to escape." A ripple of disbelief went through the classroom. One of the larger aliens, with horns curling from his head, laughed. "Patterns? You think a predator like the Zephyr Fong follows a pattern? You're just a human. You don't survive in the wild like we do." Leo did not respond immediately. He let the words sink into the room. Then he continued, "I have faced predators. I have faced creatures bigger, stronger, and faster than me. I survived because I did not fight them blindly. I used my mind. I used my surroundings. I adapted." Some aliens stared in shock. One of the smaller, agile creatures tilted its head. "This human," he sounded experienced. The professor's golden eyes narrowed. "Experience? Very well. Human, you will demonstrate your method. Not here, not with words. You will enter the simulation. Face a virtual apex predator. Live or fail." The classroom shifted. Holographic doors opened, revealing a dense alien jungle, alive with sounds that made many students shiver. Thorny plants waved. Large shadows moved in the distance, and the air shimmered with unseen threats. Leo stood slowly. His posture was calm but alert. Every alien in the classroom could feel the tension. This was the ultimate test. Some doubted that a human could survive for even a minute. Others could not hide their curiosity. "Remember," the professor said, voice echoing across the room, "apex predators are clever. They do not chase blindly. They adapt, they anticipate, and they kill." Leo stepped into the simulation chamber. The floor beneath him hummed and shifted. Within seconds, the human was surrounded by the dense jungle. Shadows moved quickly. Strange noises echoed all around. The scent of something massive lingered in the air. Back in the classroom, the alien students watched the live feed projected on the floating screens. Some clenched their hands. Some leaned forward in fascination. They had never seen a human in action like this. Leo crouched low, his eyes scanning the surroundings. A massive predator prowled in the distance, its eyes glowing faintly, its claws scraping the ground. It was unlike anything from Earth. Faster, stronger, and terrifying. Yet Leo did not panic. He moved slowly, carefully, observing the predator. Every instinct he had learned on Earth, the forests, rivers, and mountains, came to life. He was small, yes, but he was not helpless. The predator paused, sensing movement. It sniffed the air, its gaze locked on him. For a moment, time seemed to freeze. Every student in the classroom held their breath. Could the human survive? Leo whispered to himself, almost as if thinking aloud. Watch, learn, move. And then, with a sudden burst of clever motion, he disappeared into the thick foliage, leaving the predator confused, its glowing eyes searching for a target that was no longer there. The professor leaned forward, intrigued. Interesting, he murmured. Very interesting. It seems the human may be different than I expected. The alien students exchanged shocked glances. One of them, usually arrogant and dismissive, muttered, I did not think a human could do that. Leo's calm eyes peeked from behind a bush, his mind already planning the next move. He was small, yes, but he was smart, and in this alien jungle, that might be the only thing that mattered. The first part of the lesson had begun. The question was no longer just about survival. It was about respect. And slowly, the alien students realized that humans might be more than they had ever imagined. The dense jungle inside the simulation was alive. Strange plants swayed even though there was no wind. Faint glowing spores floated through the air. Every sound, crackling branches, distant roars, wet footsteps, made the human senses alert. Leo crouched low, feeling the ground beneath his feet. It was soft, damp, and uneven. He could hear the faintest rustle of leaves. The predator was near. He did not panic. Instead, he observed. Every predator he knew had patterns. Its movements, the way it searched for prey, the sound it made, everything was a clue. From the classroom, the alien students watched the live feed. Some leaned forward, mouths open. Some shook their heads in disbelief. Could a human really survive against a creature designed to hunt the strongest aliens? A low growl echoed through the jungle. Leo froze. The predator stepped into view. It was massive, taller than any human, longer than most alien students' limbs. Its skin shimmered with scales that seemed to change color with the light. Its eyes glowed yellow, intelligent and dangerous. Most humans would have screamed or run. Leo did neither. He crouched behind a thick alien tree, barely moving. He watched the predator carefully. It sniffed the air, its gaze scanning every shadow. He whispered to himself, Patience, observe first. The predator moved forward slowly. Every step was deliberate, almost calculated. Its claws scraped the jungle floor softly, leaving deep marks. Leo studied the marks. They showed the predator's path. He noticed patterns. When it paused where it looked first, which paths it avoided. A sudden snap of a twig nearby made the predator turn sharply. Its gaze locked on Leo. For a brief moment, their eyes met. The predator's intelligence was clear. It knew Leo was there. Leo stayed still, his breathing controlled. He remembered Earth's forests, where he had faced bears and wolves. He had learned one rule, never panic. Panic made hunters stronger. Calm made you invisible. Slowly, he moved sideways, careful not to break a branch. The predator mirrored him, its movements fluid, almost like a dance. Every step Leo took was mirrored by the predator's attention. Back in the classroom, the aliens gasped. One furred student muttered, He moves like he understands it, like he predicts it. Another, a tall scale creature, said, Impossible! Humans cannot think like this. Leo scanned the jungle. A fallen log lay near the edge of a small cliff. If he could lure the predator toward it, he might gain an advantage. He whispered again, Use your surroundings. Be clever. The predator took a step closer. Its yellow eyes were sharp, scanning every shadow. Leo's heart beat steadily. Not fast, not slow, just controlled. He adjusted his position, making himself slightly visible, then retreated, drawing the predator's attention. The predator followed. Faster now. Its curiosity clearly piqued. Leo moved carefully toward the log, using the jungle's thick plants for cover. Every branch, every leaf was part of his plan. Suddenly, the predator lunged. Leo rolled to the side just in time, feeling the air from its claws brush past him. The predator landed heavily, snapping a tree branch with its tail. It growled, a deep, frightening sound. Leo's mind raced. He had to think faster than the predator, act faster than it could react. He noticed a series of vines hanging nearby, using them. He swung quickly, placing himself out of immediate reach, and disappeared into the shadows again. The predator paused, frustrated. It sniffed, circled, and growled again. Leo observed quietly. He realized the predator had learned from his movements. It was adapting, just as the professor had warned. This was no ordinary hunt. This was a test of intelligence, observation, and adaptability. Leo's small body hid enormous courage. His calm mind hid rapid thinking. His experience on Earth had taught him the rules, but this alien predator was a new challenge. The predator finally crouched, preparing to pounce again. Leo took a deep breath, scanning the environment. He saw a narrow gap between two enormous alien trees. It was risky, but if he could reach it, he could confuse the predator long enough to escape. He whispered one last time to himself. Now! With precise timing, Leo sprinted toward the gap. The predator lunged, claws striking the air where Leo had just been. He ducked and rolled through the gap, barely scraping past sharp alien branches. The predator growled loudly, frustrated. Leo vanished into the dense undergrowth, leaving the massive hunters searching for him. Back in the classroom, the alien students erupted in quiet amazement. "Did you see that?" One whispered. "He isn't just lucky, he is thinking." Another nodded, wide-eyed. "This human, he is clever." The professor leaned forward, intrigued. Yes, this is exactly what I wanted to see. Humans underestimated by so many. Yet, perhaps there's more to them than anyone realized. Leo crouched in the shadows, listening to the distant roars of the predator. Sweat ran down his forehead, but his eyes were sharp. He was alive. He had survived the first encounter. And he knew this was only the beginning. The jungle was still dangerous. The predator was intelligent, patient, and deadly. But Leo had something even stronger, his mind. And in this alien world, his mind might just be the ultimate weapon. The jungle was alive with danger. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a branch made Leo's senses sharper. The predator had not given up. Its glowing yellow eyes scanned the dense foliage, following the faintest signs of movement. It was big, fast, and clever, more clever than any predator Leo had faced on Earth. Leo crouched behind a thick alien tree, examining the environment. He noticed something immediately. The predator followed his path too predictably. It relied on instinct, but it had a pattern, just like he had studied. He smiled slightly. Humans had something that many other species didn't, the ability to think outside the obvious. The predator paused, sniffing the air. Leo knew it could detect the faintest scent of him. He had to act fast. He picked up a large, hollowed-out log lying nearby. With careful aim, he rolled it across the jungle floor, creating noise and vibrations in a different direction. The predator froze, ears twitching. Then it turned toward the sound. Leo held his breath and slowly moved in the opposite direction. Every step he took was calculated, quiet and precise. In the classroom, the alien students leaned closer to the floating screens. One of the larger aliens whispered, "He is using his mind, not just running. He is controlling the hunt." Another furred student murmured, "I have never seen a human move like this before. Incredible." Leo crouched low near a small stream. The water ran silently, reflecting the dim glow of the alien jungle. He noticed plants that made soft vibrations when touched, perfect tools. He carefully stepped on one, then jumped to another, creating small noises in a specific pattern. The predator hesitated, confused. It could not understand why the sounds were shifting in different directions. Leo had created a distraction. He slowly, silently, slipped further into the jungle. Suddenly, the predator lunged toward the original sound. Leo leaped into a tangle of vines overhead. The vines swayed, carrying him out of sight. The predator's claws struck the jungle floor with a loud thud. Leo swung silently, landing behind a wall of thick plants. Back in the classroom, the alien students gasped. "Did you see that?" One shouted. "He didn't just run, he tricked it." Another alien with scales nodded. "This human is cleverer than any of us thought. He uses strategy." Leo crouched behind a giant rock. His breathing was steady. Sweat ran down his forehead, but his mind was clear. He studied the predator's movements. Each step it took, each sniff of the air, each glance, everything gave him information. He could almost predict its next move. The predator roared and circled the area. It had learned his first trick. But Leo was ready. He noticed a high ledge nearby, thick with alien moss and vines. If he could reach it, he could observe the predator from above and plan the next move. He moved silently, watching the predator. It prowled slowly, careful, intelligent. Leo waited for the perfect moment. Then, with a swift motion, he sprinted toward the ledge, leaping onto the vines, swinging upward. He landed safely among the thick moss, hidden from view. The predator stopped, sniffed the air, and growled. It scanned the jungle again. Its eyes glowed yellow, intelligent and frustrated. It had lost sight of him. Leo took a deep breath, steadying his nerves. He was small, yes, but he had the advantage of thinking ahead. The predator moved closer to the ledge. Leo noticed its shadow falling across a thin bridge of vines below. A sudden idea came to him. He carefully broke one of the weaker vines above the predator, causing a small cascade of leaves and debris to fall near it. The predator snapped his head toward the noise, momentarily distracted. Leo did not waste time. He leapt from the ledge, swinging to another tree, landing silently behind thick foliage. The predator turned, but it was too late. The human was already gone, moving like a ghost through the jungle. In the classroom, whispers filled the room. "He is teaching it. No, tricking it," one alien muttered. "I cannot believe a human can think like this under pressure." Leo crouched near a small alien stream, listening. He could hear the predator's distant growls. Each sound told him where it was. He smiled. This was not just survival. This was a test of intelligence. And humans had something the predator could not predict: creativity. The professor leaned forward, watching intently. "Remarkable," he murmured. "It seems a human does not just survive, he outsmarts. Perhaps there is more to them than we have ever imagined." Leo whispered to himself. Adapt, observe, outsmart, always one step ahead. He carefully planned his next move. The jungle had more challenges ahead, narrow paths, strange alien plants, and hidden traps, but Leo felt ready. The predator was strong, but it could be tricked. It could be led. And Leo had learned one important rule: never underestimate the power of thinking differently. The predator moved closer again, its eyes scanning every shadow. Leo tensed, ready to act. The first moves had worked, but this was only the beginning. He had survived the first encounter. But to truly escape, he would need to be smarter, faster, and braver than ever before. And in that moment, a small, glowing plant caught Leo's eye, something no alien had ever noticed. A new idea formed his mind, a plan that might finally give him the advantage. The jungle was dangerous. The predator was relentless. But Leo was human, and humans had a way of surviving when others could not. The jungle had grown darker. Strange alien shadows moved with every rustle of the leaves. Leo crouched low behind a giant, twisting tree. The predator's glowing yellow eyes scanned the area relentlessly. It had grown cleverer. It had adapted to his tricks. Every step Leo took was anticipated. His breathing was steady, but his mind raced. He knew he could not simply run forever. The predator was faster, stronger, and smarter than him. He needed an advantage, something the predator did not expect. Then, a faint rustle caught his attention from above. A small creature, no larger than a human hand, peered at him from the branches. Its skin shimmered faintly in green light, and its eyes glowed softly. Leo froze. He had never seen this species before. The creature tilted its head, curious, but not hostile. Leo whispered softly, careful not to alarm it. "I need help. Can you help me?" The small alien made a series of chirps and clicks. Somehow, Leo understood its meaning. It was willing to help. He smiled slightly. Sometimes, allies came from the most unexpected places. The predator growled nearby. It had sensed something different in the air. Leo glanced at his new companion. The creature hopped down, small but fast, leading him toward a narrow path between thick alien vines. Leo followed silently, moving carefully to avoid snapping branches. The predator's eyes caught movement. It lunged toward them, claws striking the ground with immense force. Leo dug behind a thick bush. The small creature squeaked, darting between the predator's legs, confusing it. The predator roared in frustration, trying to catch this tiny ally, but it was too fast. In the classroom, the alien students watched intently. One whispered, "It is working. The human has a creature helping him. Clever." Another nodded. "I have never seen a human survive like this in a predator simulation." Leo and the small alien moved through the jungle, using every shadow and hiding place to stay out of the predator's reach. Leo observed the predator's pattern again. Every lunge, every sniff, every pause. It revealed its strategy. The predator cornered them near a cliff edge, where the jungle fell sharply into a glowing abyss. Leo's heart raced. One wrong move, and they would fall. The predator crouched low, ready to strike. Its yellow eyes glowed with deadly intelligence. Leo whispered to the small creature, "We need a plan. Quick." The tiny alien chirped, as if pointing to a hanging vine that stretched across the cliff. Leo understood immediately. It was a risky move, but it might work. He grabbed the vine and swung carefully, landing on a ledge below the predator. The predator lunged after him, but its momentum carried it slightly past the edge, forcing it to pause. Leo and the small alien moved quickly, using the jungle terrain to confuse the predator. Every rock, every plant, every shadow became part of their strategy. The predator growled, frustrated, adapting to their tricks. But Leo had one advantage. It could not predict their teamwork. The predator lunged again. Leo dodged, leading it toward a narrow tunnel of thick vines. The small alien darted ahead, creating noise and drawing the predator's attention. The predator followed, struggling to move through the tangled vines. Its speed and strength were now disadvantages. Leo moved silently, keeping out of reach, watching carefully. In the classroom, the alien students gasped. "He is controlling it, not just surviving. He is leading it," one whispered. Another added, "Humans are underestimated. They are smarter than we thought." Leo crouched near a rock, observing the predator trapped in the vine tunnel. The small alien chirped again, signaling the final part of their plan. Leo nodded. He picked up a large glowing fruit hanging nearby and rolled it carefully down the path. The predator's eyes followed it, mesmerized by the bright light. When the fruit hit the predator, it caused a small explosion of spores and smoke. The predator roared in frustration, disoriented. Leo and the small alien slipped away silently, moving deeper into the jungle, leaving the predator behind. Leo's heart pounded, but he was calm. He had survived the first serious challenge. He had learned to think fast, adapt, and trust allies, even unexpected ones. The professor leaned forward, watching the live feed intently. "Remarkable," he murmured. "The human not only survives, he commands the situation. Perhaps we have underestimated the species far too long." Leo paused in a safe spot, crouching beside his tiny ally. He studied the jungle ahead. The predator was still alive, still hunting, but Leo had gained a significant advantage. He whispered to himself, "Observe, outsmart, adapt, always one step ahead." And with that, he moved forward, deeper into the jungle, ready for the next challenge. The predator would not give up easily, but neither would he. The jungle grew darker as Leo moved through it. Strange plants glowed faintly, casting eerie light on twisted roots and thick vines. The predator's roars echoed behind him. It was relentless, adapting to every trick Leo had used. Every step he took had to be calculated, or he would be caught. Leo crouched near a narrow river, its water shimmering faintly under the alien glow. He paused, listening. The predator's growls were closer now. His heart beat steadily, but his mind was racing. This was the final challenge. One wrong move, and it would be over. He glanced at a small alien ally. The creature chirped softly, hopping onto a nearby rock. It was ready to help again. Leo smiled slightly. Allies, even the smallest ones, could make a difference. He studied the predator's path. It had grown predictable after several failed attempts. Its frustration made it reckless. Leo spotted a fallen tree bridging the river. The predator could not cross it easily. It was thick but unstable. He whispered to his ally, "We use the environment. Everything counts." He ran lightly, landing on the fallen tree. It creaked under his weight, but he balanced carefully. The predator arrived, sensing movement. Its glowing eyes locked onto him. It lunged toward the tree, but it was too large. Its claws struck the side, almost breaking the bridge. But Leo moved quickly, swinging across to a thick cluster of vines on the opposite bank. The predator roared, frustrated. Leo landed safely and crouched low. He picked up a cluster of glowing fruits dangling nearby. With precise aim, he rolled them down a slope. The fruits burst with a bright flash and thick smoke. The predator hesitated, confused and disoriented. Leo moved silently, slipping past the predator while it was distracted. His small alien ally darted ahead, creating noise to keep the predator's attention elsewhere. Step by step, they gained distance. The predator recovered quickly, roaring and charging toward them again. Leo saw the final opportunity. A narrow canyon appeared ahead, with thick vines hanging across the gap. If he could lure the predator into the canyon, it would trap it. He ran toward the canyon, glancing back. The predator followed, faster than ever, claws tearing through alien soil. At the edge, Leo ducked behind a large rock and motioned for the ally to go first. The small alien leaped across a vine, landing safely on the far side. The predator, blinded by rage and confusion from the bright fruits and smoke, lunged after the ally, slipping into the canyon's narrow entrance. Its massive body got stuck between the jagged rocks. It roared and struggled, but there was no way forward or backward. The predator thrashed violently, but Leo was safe. He crouched at the edge, watching the trapped predator carefully. It was alive but immobilized. In the classroom, alien students gasped. Some whispered, "He did it! He trapped it!" Others muttered, "Humans, we underestimated them." Even Professor leaned forward, eyes wide. Remarkable. This human survived, outsmarted, and controlled the apex predator. Truly remarkable. Leo exhaled slowly, sweat dripping down his forehead. He had survived using intelligence, observation, and clever use of the environment. He had not relied on strength or size. He had relied on thinking differently, a true human trait. The small alien ally chirped happily and hopped onto his shoulder. Leo patted it gently. "We did it," he whispered. Together, he surveyed the jungle ahead. The simulation was not over, but this challenge had been conquered. The predator was immobilized, but it was a warning. Intelligence and strategy could win where strength alone could not. Leo thought about the lesson he had just learned. The universe was full of dangers, but humans had something unique. Creativity, adaptability, and quick thinking could turn even the deadliest situation into a chance to survive. Back in the classroom, whispers turned into applause. The alien students now looked at Leo with newfound respect. The ones who had doubted him earlier were silent, impressed. Even the arrogant scaled alien could not hide its admiration. The professor's voice boomed across the room. "Today we witnessed something extraordinary. A human, small in size, facing an apex predator, survived and outsmarted it. Perhaps it is time we rethink what humans are truly capable of." Leo straightened, brushing dirt from his uniform. He looked at his small ally and nodded. They had survived together. The jungle had tested them, but they had emerged stronger, smarter, and united. Yet, Leo knew this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, with predators far stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than this simulation. But he was ready. He had learned the greatest lesson of all. A human could survive, adapt, and thrive, even in the deadliest worlds. The predator roared one last time, trapped in the canyon. Leo looked at it calmly. "Next time, you'll need more than brute strength," he whispered. "You will need brains." The professor leaned back, smiling. Yes, perhaps humans will change the rules of survival forever. And as the simulation ended, Leo stepped out of the jungle, victorious, calm, and ready for whatever the universe had in store next. The simulation chamber faded, and the alien jungle disappeared. Leo stepped back onto the polished floor of the classroom. The alien students turned to look at him, wide-eyed and silent. Even those who had doubted humans now stared in awe. The professor's 6 arms folded calmly, his golden eyes fixed on Leo. You survived. Not just survived, he said, voice deep and echoing, but you outsmarted an apex predator. Tell the class how. Leo took a deep breath. He looked around, meeting the eyes of aliens from every corner of the galaxy. Some had scales, some fur, some no visible features at all. But they all waited for his answer. It's simple, Leo said slowly. Observation first. Study the predator. Learn its patterns. Adapt. Do not rely on strength alone. A predator may be stronger, faster, or bigger, but intelligence, creativity, thinking differently can make all the difference. Some aliens nodded. Others whispered among themselves. One small, agile creature tilted its head. You mean brains can beat brawn? It asked. Leo smiled faintly. Exactly. Strength is useful, but it is not everything. Use your surroundings. Use strategy. Think ahead. And never underestimate the unexpected. He glanced at the small alien ally that had helped him in the simulation. Even tiny creatures could make a difference. Every detail, every opportunity mattered. The universe was full of danger, but also full of chances for those who saw them. The professor leaned closer. Impressive. Humans are underestimated far too often. You have shown they can think, adapt, and survive where others might fail. Whispers filled the room. Some alien students looked inspired, as if seeing humans in a new light. One large, horned alien said softly, "Perhaps we have judged them wrongly for centuries." Leo continued, "Survival is not just about fighting. It's about planning, observing, learning, and adapting. Every world, every predator, every challenge is different, but the rules are the same. Use your mind, trust your instincts, and never give up." The professor nodded, clearly impressed. "And what of the predator itself? Did you learn anything from it?" "Yes," Leo replied. "Predators are clever. They adapt. They learn from mistakes. But even the cleverest predator can be outsmarted with patience, observation, and creativity. Survival is a game of intelligence as much as strength." The classroom fell silent. Aliens who had once laughed at the humans' confidence now looked thoughtful. Some even took notes eagerly, trying to understand how a species so small and weak could dominate a predator so powerful. Leo's eyes scanned the room. He realized something important. Respect was not given, it was earned. And in the galaxy, respect could make the difference between life and death. Humans may be underestimated, but when their intelligence and creativity were applied, they could change the rules of survival. The professor finally spoke, his voice calm but carrying weight. "Today, a human has demonstrated a lesson not just in survival, but in strategy, observation, and creativity. This is a day the Academy will remember. Perhaps it is time we reconsider the place of humans among the stars." Leo bowed slightly. "Thank you, Professor. But this is only the beginning. There are bigger predators, bigger challenges, and bigger worlds out there. And humans, we are ready." The alien students stared at him, some in admiration, some in disbelief. One murmured, "The human, he may have changed everything." The simulation had ended, but the lesson had only begun. Leo had shown that intelligence, adaptability, and courage could overcome even the deadliest threats. It was not just survival. It was a message to the galaxy. Humans were not to be underestimated. The professor leaned back, a small smile forming. "Yes, the universe has many surprises. Perhaps humans will teach us more than we can imagine." Leo looked out the classroom window. Beyond it, stars stretched across the galaxy, worlds filled with unknown predators, unknown dangers, and unknown opportunities awaited. And he was ready. The alien students whispered among themselves, inspired by what they had seen. The human who had faced the apex predator had earned their respect. And in the quiet hum of the Academy, One truth became clear: intelligence, creativity, and courage could change the course of survival. Leo's mind was already planning for the next challenge, for the next world, for the next predator. The adventure was far from over, and the galaxy would never see humans the same way again. The classroom had finally quieted. Alien students still whispered among themselves, replaying every moment of the simulation in their minds. Some stared at Leo with newfound respect. Others were thoughtful, realizing that humans might be far more capable than they had ever imagined. Leo stood calmly at the front, his small figure framed against the holographic screens that displayed the jungle, the river, and the trapped predator. His small alien ally perched on his shoulder, chirping softly. The predator remained stuck in the canyon, a reminder of what intelligence and creativity could accomplish. The professor's golden eyes scanned the room. Humans, you have shown remarkable skill, adaptability, observation, courage. But remember, the universe is vast. The predators you face today, they are only the beginning. Leo nodded. I understand, Professor. The galaxy is full of challenges. Bigger predators, more dangerous worlds, more unknown dangers. But humans, we will survive. We will adapt, and we will find a way to overcome. A murmur ran through the alien students. One of them, a furred creature with sharp claws, whispered, "He is calm, even after facing an apex predator." Most of us would panic. Another, with scales glinting in the soft light, said, "He does not just survive, he plans, he thinks, he adapts." A human is more dangerous than we believed. Leo's eyes drifted to the window. Beyond it, the stars stretched endlessly across the galaxy. Planets with alien jungles, deserts, ice worlds, and oceans waited. Predators of unimaginable power roamed those worlds. But Leo felt ready. Each challenge was an opportunity. Each predator was a puzzle to solve. The professor leaned forward, voice calm but firm. Today, you have learned the lesson of strategy, observation, and intelligence. But I warn you, out there are predators unlike any you have faced. Be ready. Humans may be small, but perhaps they hold secrets others cannot match. Leo's small alien ally chirped again, as if understanding his thoughts. He smiled faintly. "We will be ready," he whispered. "No matter what comes, we will survive." Suddenly, a low vibration ran through the academy. The screens flickered, showing a distant planet. The surface was dark and rocky. Shadows moved across its surface, enormous shapes larger than anything Leo had seen before. The professor's eyes narrowed. "Ah, it seems the next challenge is already waiting." The alien students gasped. Even the bravest among them looked uneasy. The shadows moved with purpose, intelligent and deadly. Apex predators of a new level, more dangerous than any they had studied, roamed the planet. Leo leaned forward, curiosity and excitement in his eyes. "Then we go," he said quietly, determination clear in his voice. "We face it. We learn. We survive. And we adapt." The small alien on his shoulder chirped eagerly. Leo nodded at it. This is only the beginning. The galaxy is full of predators, full of dangers, full of surprises. And humans, we are ready for them all. The classroom fell silent for a moment, the weight of what they had witnessed settling in. Then, slowly, the alien students began to nod. Respect was now earned. Humans were not just small and weak. They were clever, adaptable, and unpredictable. The professor finally spoke, his voice echoing through the room. "Very well. The galaxy awaits. Prepare yourselves, students. The next predator is unlike anything you have faced. And this time, survival will demand everything you have learned." Leo looked out the window once more. The stars stretched endlessly. Unknown worlds, unknown creatures, and unknown challenges waited. But he was calm. He had survived simulations, outsmarted predators, and learned the greatest lesson of all. Humans had a mind, a strategy, and a courage that could turn the deadliest situations into triumphs. As the Academy's doors opened to the docking bay, signaling the next mission, Leo stepped forward with his small alien ally by his side. The predator from the simulation, still trapped in the canyon, was a reminder, not a threat. The universe was full of challenges, but he was ready, And somewhere, far across the galaxy, on a distant rocky planet, shadows moved silently, massive and intelligent. The next apex predator awaited. Bigger, smarter, deadlier. Leo's eyes gleamed. "Let's go," he whispered. And with that, he walked toward the next adventure, ready to prove once again that humans could survive, adapt, and thrive, even against the galaxy's most dangerous hunters. The screen faded to black. The docking bay of the Academy hummed with energy. Ships lined up, ready for their next missions. Leo adjusted his gear, his small alien ally perched on his shoulder, eyes glowing softly. The other students watched him with respect and curiosity, whispering about the human who had outsmarted an apex predator. The professor's voice boomed over the comm system. "Mission briefing, planet Xiron 7. Reports indicate the presence of a new apex predator. Larger, faster, more intelligent than anything previously recorded. Survival is not guaranteed." Leo's eyes narrowed. A thrill ran through him. He had survived simulations, outsmarted Predator, and proven the unexpected strength of humans. But this would be different. The holographic screen flickered, showing a massive shadow moving across jagged cliffs. Its eyes glowed faintly, and even from this distance, its power was clear. The aliens gasped. Some stepped back. Even the bravest seemed hesitant. Leo whispered to his small companion, "We will need every skill, every trick we have learned. But I know we can do this." The predator moved silently, yet its presence was enormous. Every muscle, every movement spoke of intelligence and deadly precision. It was aware of intruders, aware of potential threats. The professor's golden eyes glinted. "Remember, students, intelligence and observation will be your greatest weapons. But this predator, it is unlike any before. Trust in yourselves. And trust the humans." Leo stepped toward the ship. He glanced back at the glowing stars beyond the docking bay. Unknown worlds, unknown predators, and unknown dangers awaited. But he smiled faintly. Humans had survived against the odds before, and they would do it again. The doors closed, the ship's engines hummed, and the vessel launched into the starry void. Far below, on the rocky surface of Xiron 7, shadows shifted. Massive claws dug into stone. Glowing eyes scanned the sky. The apex predator waited. Leo's eyes gleamed. "Let's see what you've got," he whispered. And as the ship disappeared into space, the predator's growl echoed across the planet, promising a challenge that would push every skill, every instinct, and every ounce of intelligence to the limit. The screen faded to black. Hook. Audience left wondering, can humans survive the next deadliest predator?